According to MammothCave.com, Mammoth Cave is the world's largest cave, measuring over 400 miles. Could you imagine traveling 400 miles underground? 400 miles of darkness with nothing but the creatures that live there. This is Mammoth Cave. To truly enjoy Mammoth Cave, one must know how it was created, the type of lives that live there, and the things there are to do while you are there. If you have driven through central Kentucky, you were probably driving on top of Mammoth Cave and didn't even know it. I've been to Mammoth Cave several times and have seen how massive and beautiful it truly is. Today I will inform you of how this massive cave was formed, the types of life that live there, and the different tours you can take while you're there. First, let's look at how the cave was formed. According to mammoth.cave.nationalpark.com, the geological process resulting in Mammoth Cave started hundreds of millions of years ago. Kentucky was once covered by a big body of water that was full of life. As this life started to die and decompose, it left a huge layer of limestone and shale on the ground. There was a large river system that flowed through the same area. As the river ran through, it deposited a layer of sandstone. Eventually, the earth where Mammoth Cave is located started to rise. During the rise, the limestone and sandstone started to crack. At this point, rainwater started to flow through the cracks. As more and more rainwater flowed through the cracks, it eroded the cracks into bigger passageways. Over millions of years, this erosion formed the cave tunnels that we now know as Mammoth Cave. Now that you know how the cave was formed, let's look at the types of animals that live there. According to the National Park Service, there are over 70 endangered, threatened, or state-listed species that live in Mammoth Cave National Park, and over 130 species that inhabit the cave. These species are divided into three groups. The first group is troglobites, which can only live in the cave. These species include the Kentucky cave shrimp, the cave crayfish, the eyeless fish, and the eyeless cave shrimp. The second group is troglophiles. These species can live either in the cave or outside of the cave. Some of these species include bats, cave crickets, pseudoscorpions, and salamanders. The third group of species is troglodytes. These animals only use the cave for refuge but cannot live in the cave entirely. These species include things like rats, snakes, possums, and raccoons. Now you know how Mammoth Cave was formed and what lives there, so let's see what types of tours you can take while there. Mammoth Cave offers tours for all ages and fitness levels. These tours range from under a mile up to several miles. If you're bringing your kids and would like an easy tour that everyone can enjoy, there are two tours available for you. These tours are the Mammoth Passage Tour and the Frozen Niagara Tour. If you have older kids or are just looking for a longer, more difficult tour, there are several tours available for you. These tours include the Historic Tour, Domes and Dripstones, Gothic Avenue Tour, Great Onyx Lantern Tour, River Styx Cave Tour, or the Star Chamber. If you want to really get down and dirty and test your limits, there are a couple tours for you also. The first one is the Violet City Lantern Tour, which is done by Lantern Light, and the second one is an introduction to caving, which takes you through the tightest and steepest areas of the cave. You now have a good understanding of how the cave was formed, all the great creatures that live there, and all the tours that you can take while visiting the cave. Now that you know all about Mammoth Cave, I encourage you to take a trip there yourself. Once you see the largest cave system in the world, you will truly know why they call it Mammoth.